But let's look at the unemployment rate. This is not some liberal rag. This is not the failing New York Times, although I will be sharing charts from them. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is the Trump government. So if you look at civilian unemployment rate seasonally adjusted, look at that. That goes from 2000 to 2020. And right now we are at a 8% unemployment rate, a little bit less than the financial crisis. The peak of the financial crisis, we got to 10%. Now, what's interesting about the unemployment rate is if you talk to Trump supporters, they will often remind you, and Trump himself at his rallies will remind you that before the Kung flu, as he calls it, so racist, before the coronavirus, our economy was on fire. We had record unemployment. So what's interesting is if you look at this chart of the unemployment rate, where going down is good, you want the unemployment rate as low as possible. Can you point out when Trump took office? Is it obvious from that chart? Because according to the Trump narrative, the moment he took office and slashed regulations and slashed taxes on those poor rich people, slash corporate income tax on those poor American corporations, he introduced this amazing Trump boom. Okay, where is this boom? Like that, if there were a Trump boom, shouldn't around after 2016, shouldn't this line sharply dive down? It looks like it really has been going down ever since 2009. I'm not sure who was in office that time. Oh, that would be Barack Obama. My man. All right. So if you look here, I think what this tells you is Barack Obama did not cut taxes for the rich. He did not cut corporate income taxes. He cut middle class taxes. He introduced a national health reform that allowed people to buy insurance at a much lower cost. But he didn't cut regulations. He introduced actually more environmental protections, more financial regulations. So he did all of this, and the unemployment rate went down. And then you had Trump basically blow a hole in our national debt to fund his tax cuts and also cut all the environmental protection. The other thing is, like, when you hear Trump talk about, oh, I've cut thousands of pages of regulations, and that's why the economy blew up and was raring under me. Number one, it was not raring under you. It was basically continuing a trend. And number two, the regulations you cut were generally just to allow more drilling of fossil fuels. So I don't know if you want to be really proud of that. But anyway, just keep it real. When you talk to a Trump supporter who's telling you about the great Trump economy, you may want to show them this chart and be like, hey, if this great Trump economy is because of everything he did, why does the line look the same? It's basically the same negative slope as under Obama. In fact, it actually seems to have flattened a little bit. And then, of course, when you don't take coronavirus seriously, it will screw you. And, let's remember, we at one point had 15% unemployment. 15%, man. That's crazy. 1 out of every 7 people. That's nuts. So, any rate, that's the unemployment rate. And now, you guys want to keep going? I got more charts. Yes, Andrew Yang for Prez. He actually had asked me to do this, and I went through every major regulatory reform because I was like, hey, maybe he is cutting a bunch of red tape around like small business generation or companies taking new products to market. No, it was all basically allowing old energy companies to drill in more places with less regulation. It was pretty gross. But I don't know if Trump supporters have researched and looked into the exact regulatory changes that Trump has made because it's not about red tape. It's I guess if you consider protecting like Arctic areas red tape, it is red tape for coal companies and for fracking companies. So I guess in that way it's red tape. But when I hear red tape, I think more of like government bureaucracy across multiple industries. Okay, the stock market, we have to give him credit, is doing pretty good. Here is the NASDAQ over, let's say, the last 5 years. And if we go further, so this is basically the Obama line here, basically 2008 to 16, right? Nice. But I will give you credit, Trump. It has also gone up even more aggressively, slightly more aggressively under Trump. I think that's where the corporate income tax cuts have helped. But, you know, not everyone, I don't know, I would say most, but not everyone in the country owns stock, or if they do, they may not own a lot of it. So there's a lot of people out there who are thinking like, whatever, NASDAQ at 10,900, 10,500 doesn't make a freaking difference. I just want a job. But I just wanted to keep it real because I know a lot of people know I really despise Donald as a person, as a leader, as a man of it, you know, in terms of his integrity, his, you know, his sort of disdain for reading. These things are very disturbing to me, and his sort of discomfort with actual statistics that are you know, more nuanced. But I will give him credit that the NASDAQ has done really well. Oh, Jennifer wants to know, hey, when will Peter return to the channel? You know, he will. He wants to come back. Lately, I've had a lot of people who are running for office or approaching us to come on the Nerd Show. So I've been trying to accommodate a lot of other guests, but I will get Peter back. And I will tell you this, having just talked to him over text today and over video this weekend, he is very sad that the nightlife in Miami has been reduced. However, he is still going out clubbing, and he's definitely not keeping 6 feet away from people, and they're not wearing masks. So I told him, like, if you don't want to shut the whole country down again, like, freaking be a little bit more responsible, wear a mask, and avoid indoor crowded places, including Miami Beach nightclubs. But sometimes people don't listen to me. So there you go. All right. Play Woodward tapes for Peter. His defense will be hysterical. Yeah, well, he will defend him. He will defend Trump to the end. Okay. So that was a NASDAQ. And now, oh, you cannot talk about this election without talking about COVID. So I wanted to basically take a quick look at how we are doing as a country when it comes to dealing with this coronavirus. And in a lot of ways, you might be wondering, like, whoa, I thought this was a politics discussion. Why are we talking about COVID? Like, COVID is the Trump virus. Like, he owns the outcome. I mean, everybody knows he did not take it seriously. He continues to dismiss people who wear masks. In one interview last week, he said, oh, some people say masks are dangerous. And then I think George Stephanopoulos said, who? And he said, well, you know, like you talk to the waiters will tell you. It's like, dude, you don't, why are you taking medical advice from waiters? They are not experts in medicine. That they're experts in being a waiter. You should get medical advice from Fauci or Birx or the head of the CDC. These are the people you should get your scientific advice from. Scientists who go to school and study biology and chemistry and immunology and virology and epidemiology. Don't freaking take your health advice from waiters, bro. All right. I don't think the orange guy is going to listen. But let's take a look at the statistics around COVID. I think they're better. I'm not going to say it's because of Trump, but maybe in spite. Okay, so here's the national map. Basically, if you live around Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Iowa, parts of Wisconsin, you got some issues. But much of the rest of the country is doing a little better. Puerto Rico, not so good. Where are cases higher and staying higher? North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Iowa, Utah, Missouri, Tennessee, Nebraska. And then where are they higher but starting to go down? Guam, Mississippi, South Carolina, Kentucky. Lower but going up, Wyoming, Arizona, Rhode Island, Colorado, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine. Lower and staying lower. Woohoo! California's in here. Florida, congratulations. Lower and staying lower, even though Peter's going out every night. Louisiana, all right. So there's progress here. Where are new deaths increasing? North Dakota, Missouri, Virginia, Rhode Island. And then if you sort by total cases in the last 7 days, let's say per capita, Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Arizona, Georgia, South Carolina, highest number of cases per 100,000. In the last, that's total. But if you look at the last 7 days per 100,000, you see North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Oklahoma as being in a much worse place. And if you invert it, if you are in Vermont, Maine, the Mariana Islands, New Hampshire, New York, Connecticut, Oregon, you're in pretty good shape. New Jersey, Washington State. Washington State, remember, that was like where it all started. So it can be done. And if you want to look at deaths, most deaths per capita in the last 7 days, Arkansas, Mississippi, Virginia, Arkansas, Guam, Mississippi, Virginia, Florida. So still significant deaths in Florida. I think Florida has got a lagging indicator. Hopefully their case count is starting to go down. And I think it is. Yeah, I think it is, because Florida's case count, if you look at Florida, look at this. It used to be very dark reddish orange, and now it's turning just orange. You want to be as light as possible. All right, so that is overall in America. We have had almost 7 million cases, 200,000 deaths. And our death rate is thought I had it somewhere here. Hold on. I feel like our death rate's been a little bit under 1,000 per day, which is fantastic compared to before, where it was like way over 1,000 a day. Yeah, I don't have that death per day number. But look, even on September 21, which is yesterday, we only had 428 deaths. We used to have over 1,000 a day. So we are starting to make a progress, but you see here the case the case level nationally is bumping up again, which is not good. So 7-day average cases back on September 12th was 34,000. And now the 7-day average cases is 41,000. So it's gone up actually considerably, about 20% in in only about a little over a week. You hope this isn't the beginning of a second surge. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. And then if you look at countries, let's see here. World, yeah, go there. And you look at the country table. Whoops. Bear with me, folks. Okay, we are going to go for our country table. Come on. Country table. That's a country map. There's a table. Okay. If you look at deaths per 100,000, the most difficult looks like in South America. And then the US has about 1.5 deaths per 100,000. And in terms of cases per 100,000, where are we? Cases per 100,000. The US is 93. 93 cases per 100,000. Now, if you compare how we're doing to other countries, we're doing way better, way better than Aruba. Israel is in bad shape. Spain. So we're doing better than a lot of countries. We're 93. Who's doing better than us? It's a long list. Basically, as we go down here, Belgium, Brazil, Netherlands, Iraq, UAE, Denmark, about half as much as us. Portugal, half as much. United Kingdom, half as much. Switzerland, about a third. Russia, doing way better than us. I mean, it's a long list. Sweden, Jordan, Italy. Italy is doing better than us. Remember how, Germany is crushing it. They only have 15 deaths per 100,000. We have like almost 100. So you got to wonder, like, why do we have so many more people dying than other countries? It's not money. We have way more money than them, and it's not technology. And it's not size, because Germany and France are pretty big countries. They're not like little tiny countries. So I don't know what I would say. It's the lack of a consistent response and letting every state kind of like make it up as they go along. That can't be good. Like when I was in Switzerland, they had less intense restrictions, but they were followed uniformly. There was no like, oh, I choose not to wear a mask. It's like, no, if that's the rule, like you got to do it. All right. So that was the coronavirus stuff. I would say, I know Trump in a recent interview gave himself an A, a grade of an A for how he's handled the coronavirus. I think he talks about banning travel to China. You know what that's like, man? That's like a spouse. It's like a couple where one part of the couple says, oh, you don't do anything for the family. And the other part of the couple says, oh no, remember that time I went to Safeway and I picked up the milk and you said we didn't need any milk. And then it turns out that we did need milk and I picked it up. Remember? It's like, okay, great. You banned some flights from China. That's great. I'm not going to give you a statue for it because, like, leadership requires a little more than that. You know, banning flights to China and then calling it a day, and then prescribing like hydroxychloroquine, like from the like a press conference. You know, banning flights to China is like necessary but not sufficient, man. That's like locking the door to your house when your kitchen's on fire. Like, you need to do a little more. I know you went to Wharton for 2 years as a transfer student, but you need to go back. I want to thank our other members real quick. So our at the highest level, our EVP, Kristen Slevin. At the next level, VP, I want to thank Emily. Oh, I'll order basically at total time for the OGs. VLAM, JM Sap, Fat Lamb, Emily Kingsley, Laura Lane, Joshua Frick, Arkansas for Yang, Patrick Dunn. So those are the VPs. The next level down are hardcore. Mike Chan, Gene Lim, Mrs. Jones, David, Tracy Mesa, DK, Landline, Phoenix Congress, Jekalego, Kirsch, Mr. History Fan, Byram Hess, Mona Burton, Susan Clifton, Yang Deng. And then we have our verified. Helen Fung, Lisa Childress, Sugar Sweet, Albert Tom, Brandon David, Yes Ramirez, Brian Kitching, Peter Knight, Arez, Hitachi, Your Mommin, Gail. That's always cracks me up. Gail Machado, Jadwiga Basecki, Sophia Chen, Shake and Make, Mike CK, Doris Emrich, Mercian Publico, Emerald DX, Soldier One, Elizabeth Norris, Nell Nieves, Lori Green, Ben McLean, Roger Green, Richard Johnson, Lisa Strawn, Christina Cheng, Von Doramel, Anthony Perella, Rastafasta 100, Ryan Haywood, Jessica Locke, and our newest member, Sabai Hunter.